Hello, all, and welcome, dear listeners, to another episode. This is our 21st episode of Voices of Motivation Conversations that Inspire. I'm your host, Smitha, and today on this special episode, we have decided to dive into a topic centered around the professional aspect of life. Yes. We usually follow a seamless flow in our episodes, but today, as it's a special episode, we chose to have this conversation. The workplace is more than just tasks and targets, right? It's a melting pot of relationships, emotions, and challenges. And one of the most complex yet crucial roles is that of a leader, someone who inspires, supports, and guides their team. But what happens when even the best leaders, despite their dedication and hard work, feel misunderstood? Or when team members feel criticized and demotivated instead of being uplifted? That's exactly what we will explore today. To unpack this, I'm thrilled to welcome back the one and only Siona Xavier. Siona, thank you so much for joining us on this special episode.
Thank you, Smitha. It's always a joy to be here. So, leadership is a vast and dynamic journey filled with moments of triumph, trials, and most importantly, learning. So, I'm excited to dive into this discussion because it's not just about the roles or designations, it's about human connections, mutual growth, and understanding.
Great, Siona. Let's begin with the leader's perspective now. Picture this, a team leader who goes above and beyond, spending hours guiding and teaching their team, always ready to support, never pulling back, and genuinely wanting the best for everyone, right? But despite all these efforts, the team continues to make mistakes, frustrations builds and the leader loses their temper. It's a situation that's all too common, isn't it, Siona?
Oh, absolutely, Smita.
Mm,
So let's start by acknowledging that leaders, despite their titles, are
mm,
humans first.
mm,
They experience emotions, pressure, and the weight of accountability.
mm,
So the effort they put into their team is not just a professional duty, it's
mm,
often a personal commitment to seeing their team members grow and succeed. So when mistakes occur repeatedly, it's easy
mm.
for frustration to set in.
Yes.
But this frustration often stems from a place of deep care and concern. So
Mm-hmm.
leaders invest their time and energy because they genuinely believe in their team's potential. So when errors happen, it can feel like the guidance isn't making impact they hoped for. However, it's crucial for leaders to recognize that their reactions matter. So, losing one's temper might be a natural emotional response, but the way it's expressed can either build bridges of understanding or create walls of resistance. So, effective leadership isn't about suppressing emotions, it's about channeling them constructively.
Great, great. That's such a profound point, Siona. So, what's the solution for leaders in this situation? Like, how can they manage their emotions while still holding their team accountable?
That's an excellent question, Smita. So, managing this balance is
Hmm.
at the heart of transformational leadership. So,
Okay.
here's what I believe leaders can do.
Hmm.
So, the first thing is pause before reacting.
Okay.
So, when you feel that
Hmm.
surge of frustration,
Hmm.
take a moment,
Hmm.
pause, and step back.
Hmm.
This brief action can be the difference between a reactive outburst
Hmm.
and a thoughtful response. So it's not about ignoring the mistake, but
Okay.
addressing it with clarity and composure. And second, communicate with purpose. So,
Okay.
how you say something often matters more
Hmm.
than what you say. So, for instance, instead of why does this keep happening, shift to something constructive like let's work together to
Yeah.
identify the root of this issue and prevent it in the future. So, this message remains firm but fosters collaboration. And thirdly, Focus on solutions, not
Mm.
blame. So,
Okay.
mistakes are opportunities to learn. So, instead of lingering on what went wrong, direct your energy towards figuring out how
Mm.
to make it right. So, ask questions like what support do you need to improve in this area? So, this approach shifts the narrative from
Mm.
criticism to empowerment.
Great. Siona, now, let's shift to the team members as you conveyed for the main, team leader. So now from their perspective, in the sense from the team members' perspective, being scolded, even when they have made mistakes, they might think, why doesn't my leader understand me, right? Or why am I always being criticized? Or how can we address this side of the story from the perspective of team members?
That's such a crucial angle, Smitha.
Uh,
So often, team members view feedback through an emotional lens.
okay.
So, especially when it's delivered with intensity.
Mm,
So, it's essential to reframe this perspective. So,
okay.
for team members,
Mm,
my advice is simple yet transformative. So, first, listen beyond the words. So, feedback isn't a personal attack, it's a tool for growth. So
mhm.
even when the tone is sharp, focus on the message. So
Okay.
ask yourself,
Mm,
what can I learn from this feedback? So this shift in mindset can
mm,
change how you perceive and utilize criticism.
mhm,
And secondly, be proactive in communication. So
mhm.
don't wait for issues to escalate. If you're struggling, be upfront. Leaders appreciate transparency. So saying I need help with a particular task is a step towards improvement. And thirdly, appreciate efforts, not just outcomes. So
Yes.
leaders invest their time and energy into their teams. So a simple acknowledgement such
Mm,
as
mm.
I know you're trying to guide us and I value your efforts can
Yes.
strengthen the relationship and create mutual respect.
Yes, Siona, definitely. Now that we have explored both the perspectives, right, from the leader side of view and from the team members' perspective view. So now, how can leaders and team members work together to create an harmonious and productive environment here?
So, Smita, harmony in a professional setting comes from a shared commitment of three
Okay.
pillars,
Mm-hmm.
and that's firstly empathy. So,
Mm-hmm.
both leaders and team members must strive to see situations from each other's viewpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So, leaders should remember the learning curve the team is navigating, and the team members should recognize the responsibility and challenges their
Mm-hmm.
leaders face. And secondly, clarity. So, clear communication is essential. Leaders should set the expectations clearly, and team
Okay.
members should seek clarification without hesitation. And thirdly, accountability. So, leadership and followership are partnerships. So, leaders must be accountable for their communication and behavior. So,
Mm-hmm.
while team members should take ownership of their performance and learning, when both sides hold themselves accountable,
Yes.
they truly flourish.
That's such a practical advice, Siona. It reminds me of the saying, great teams are built on understanding, not the perfection. So, could you share a closing thought for leaders and team members listening today?
Certainly, Smita. So, to the leaders,
Okay.
leadership is not about perfection, but
Hmm.
about progress. So, mistakes do happen, but
Hmm.
how you respond to them defines your leadership. Approach each challenge as an opportunity to guide and inspire. And to the team members, understand that feedback, even when it feels harsh, is a reflection of your leader's investment in your growth. So embrace it with openness and commitment. So, at the core of every successful team is mutual respect and a willingness to grow together. So, let's lead and follow with empathy, clarity, and purpose.
Great, Siona. So, before we wrap up this special episode today, let's leave our listeners with something practical and transformative, something that leaders and team members can take back to their workplaces So, what do you have in mind?
So, Smitha, I'd like to introduce a simple yet impactful exercise called the Gratitude Bridge.
Okay.
So, at the end of every week, leaders and team members should reflect on one positive thing they have learned from
Mm.
each other and express it. This could be a skill, a perspective, or even a moment of kindness. So, for example, a leader might say, "Thank you for your innovative ideas during this project." And a
Yes.
team member could respond with, "I appreciate the time you took to guide me through that challenge." So, this small but consistent act of gratitude fosters mutual respect, strengthens relationship, and creates a positive workplace culture.
Great. That's absolutely beautiful, Siona, the concept. I imagine the effect this could have in workplaces, a gratitude driven culture where both leaders and team members feel empowered and valued for sure. So, to all our listeners, let's make a commitment to build these bridges in our own professional lives. So, on that note, thank you, Siona, for inspiring us with your wisdom once again. And to our audience, so we will see you next time on Voices of Motivation, conversations that inspire. Until then, keep building bridges, stay motivated, and lead with empathy. Thank you so much.